Bruno Mars has just dropped something that's sending shockwaves through fans worldwide. And this time, it's not just about the music. His latest album, The Romantic, is sparking intense speculation about love, heartbreak, and a mystery that keeps getting deeper. And at the center of it all, Jessica Caban. If you think this album is more than just a collection of songs, you're not alone. Drop your theory in the comments right now, and make sure to subscribe because what you're about to hear might completely change how you see this story. At first glance, The Romantic seemed like a quiet release. No massive rollout, no dramatic headlines. But within hours, search terms like Bruno Mars The Romantic Meaning, Bruno Mars breakup rumors, and Jessica Caban relationship clues started trending. Fans immediately went into detective mode, dissecting every lyric, every beat, every pause, searching for something hidden beneath the surface. The opening track feels soft, almost fragile, but there's an emotional weight that hits instantly. It doesn't sound like fiction, it feels personal, like a confession wrapped in melody. And that's where the questions begin, because soon after, fans started connecting the dots. And one name kept coming up, Jessica Caban. Their relationship has always been low-key. No constant media drama, no oversharing, just a quiet, steady presence over the years. But in one of the early tracks, there's a line about a love that lived outside the spotlight, and fans immediately linked it to their famously private romance. Then suddenly, the tone shifts, the music darkens, the lyrics cut deeper. There's a sense of distance, of something slipping away. Lines about memories replacing forever, about love turning into echoes. It all feels like the aftermath of something real, something broken. Is this a breakup story, or are fans reading too far into it? This is where things get even more intense. Some listeners notice subtle details in the album's visuals, symbols, dates, color themes that seem to mirror moments from Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban's past. Old photos, shared memories, even specific locations fans had seen before. Coincidence? Maybe, but the timing feels too precise. And then comes the track that changed everything. Right in the middle of the album, there's a song that feels like a letter. Not to the world, but to one person. The lyrics are raw, filled with regret, but also hope. It doesn't sound like closure. It sounds unfinished, like a conversation that never truly ended. Hold on to that thought, because this is where the mystery deepens. Just days after the album dropped, Jessica Caban posted something simple online. No explanation, no direct message, just a photo with a short caption. But fans immediately connected it to one of the album's most emotional lines. The timing? Almost too perfect. Was it a response? Or just a coincidence that fans turned into something bigger? Meanwhile, Bruno Mars remains completely silent. No interviews breaking down the meaning. No statements about his personal life. And somehow, that silence says more than any explanation ever could. Because when an artist chooses not to speak, sometimes the music is saying everything. As the album moves toward its final tracks, the energy shifts again. The intensity softens. The pain doesn't disappear, but it transforms. There's acceptance now, a quiet understanding. Not a perfect ending, but something real. And in the final song, there's a line that keeps repeating, about love never truly disappearing, only changing form. For many fans, that's the emotional payoff. Not a clear answer, but a feeling. A sense that whatever happened, it mattered. Deeply. But here's the question that still remains. Is The Romantic a true reflection of Bruno Mars' relationship with Jessica Caban? Or is it simply powerful storytelling that feels too real to ignore? Let me know what you think in the comments. Share this with someone who's been following the story. And stay tuned, because if there's one thing we've learned from Bruno Mars, it's that the real story is never as simple as it seems. And just when fans thought they had the story figured out, new details began to surface, pushing the mystery into an entirely different direction. Because The Romantic isn't just being analyzed for its lyrics anymore. It's being decoded like a puzzle. Listeners started revisiting older interviews with Bruno Mars, digging through past statements, trying to connect emotional dots that may have been overlooked before. In one resurfaced clip, He once described love as the one thing that can make you feel invincible and completely break you at the same time. At the time, it sounded poetic. Now, it feels almost like a warning, and that's where the narrative takes a sharper turn. Because if this album really is personal, then it's not just about love. It's about transformation, about what happens after the fairy tale fades. Fans began pointing out how the album structure itself tells a story. The first few tracks feel like nostalgia, warm, glowing, almost dreamlike. Then comes the tension, miscommunication, distance, silence, and finally the quiet aftermath. Not explosive, not dramatic, just stillness. That kind of storytelling doesn't feel random. It feels intentional. And that brings us back to Jessica Caban. Because while there's no official confirmation of anything changing between them, the timing of everything surrounding this album has made it impossible for fans to ignore the connection. Some even believe that certain lyrics reference specific moments only the two of them would understand. Inside memories hidden in plain sight. But here's where things get even more complicated. A group of fans noticed something unusual in one of the closing tracks. When played in reverse, yes, reverse, there appears to be a faint vocal layer underneath the main recording. It's not clear, it's not direct, but some claim it sounds like a whisper, repeating a phrase that hasn't been officially confirmed. Is it real, or is it just the human mind trying to find patterns where none exist? Because when emotions run this high, perception becomes part of the story. And just as the theories reached their peak, another unexpected moment happened. A close friend of Bruno Mars, someone who rarely speaks publicly, posted a cryptic message online. No names mentioned, no direct references, just a line about truth hidden in melodies. That was enough to send fans into another spiral of speculation. Was it about the album? Was it about Bruno? Or was it something completely unrelated that got pulled into the narrative? This is the kind of ripple effect the romantic has created. Every small detail suddenly feels significant. Every silence feels like a clue. And then comes one of the most overlooked, but possibly most important elements of all, the production. Because beyond the lyrics, beyond the speculation, there's something happening in the sound itself. Certain tracks carry a rawness that feels almost unpolished on purpose. Breaths left in, slight cracks in the voice, moments that most artists would normally smooth out, left untouched. Why? Because maybe perfection wasn't the goal. Maybe honesty was, and that changes everything. Because if this album is meant to be felt rather than explained, then maybe the answers aren't in the theories. Maybe they're in the emotions it leaves behind. Still, the question refuses to go away. What really happened between Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban? Some fans believe they're still together, stronger than ever, and that this album is simply an artistic exploration of love's complexities. Others are convinced it's a subtle goodbye, one that never needed a public announcement. And then there's a third theory, that this isn't about an ending at all, that it's about a pause. Because in several lyrics, there are hints not of closure but of distance, of time passing, of two people existing separately, but not necessarily permanently apart. That idea changes the tone of the entire album, because suddenly, those sad songs don't feel final anymore. They feel unfinished, and unfinished stories are the ones that keep people watching. As the conversation continues to grow, one thing becomes clear. The romantic has done something very few albums can do. It hasn't just entertained, it's created a shared mystery, a story that lives beyond the music, shaped by everyone who listens to it. And Bruno Mars? He's still saying nothing. No confirmation, no denial, just silence. But maybe that silence is the final piece of the puzzle. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones that aren't fully told. So now it's your turn to decide. Is this album a hidden confession, a beautifully crafted illusion, or something in between? Drop your thoughts below, because every theory adds another layer to this story. And if you've made it this far, you already know. This isn't just about music anymore. This is about something deeper, something personal, something that might never be fully explained, but somehow feels real enough to believe. But just when it seemed like the conversation had reached its peak, something unexpected started happening. The narrative began to shift. Not because of a statement, not because of confirmation, but because of the fans themselves. Communities across the internet started building full timelines around Bruno Mars and Jessica Caban. Not just recent events, but years of subtle moments that suddenly felt relevant again. Old photos resurfaced. Past captions were reread. Even interviews from nearly a decade ago were being reinterpreted under a completely new lens. And that's when a new theory began to gain traction. What if the romantic isn't telling one story, but multiple versions of the same relationship? Think about it. Several fans pointed out that some songs contradict each other emotionally. One track sounds like devotion at its purest form, unshaken, unconditional. But another, just minutes later, feels like detachment, almost like the same person in a completely different state of mind. At first, that seemed inconsistent, but then it started to make sense. Because real relationships aren't linear. They're messy, emotional, confusing, and maybe that's exactly what this album is trying to capture. Not a beginning, not an ending, but everything in between. That idea alone changed how people listened to the entire project. Suddenly, the album wasn't just about what happened. It became about how it felt. The highs, the lows, the doubts, the moments of clarity, all layered into a single experience. And if that's true, then the mystery isn't something to solve, it's something to feel. But even with that perspective, fans couldn't ignore one detail that kept resurfacing. The silence from both sides. No direct interaction. No public acknowledgement. No subtle hints confirming or denying anything. And in a world where even the smallest celebrity interactions get noticed instantly, that absence started to feel louder than any statement. Some believe that silence means everything is fine, that there's simply no need to address rumors. Others believe it's intentional distance, a quiet separation handled privately. But then, another possibility emerged. What if the silence is part of the story? What if the romantic was never meant to be explained publicly? Because if you look closely, there's a pattern in how Bruno Mars has always approached his music. He rarely over-explains. He lets listeners interpret. He lets emotions speak louder than facts. And this time, that approach might have reached its most powerful form. Because now, millions of people